wasn't great.
There's a lot of news coming out of it, though.
Six-pack challenge match. Kofi Kingston, Jack Swagger, Carlito, The Miz, Primo, and MVP. You didn't see this.
For the U.S. title. Yeah.
For the U.S. title. Kofi Kingston retains. Good match, with the guys that are in there. I mean, Jack Swagger has all the potential in the world. Kofi Kingston, awesome. Carlito,
up to this point in the match, up to this point, the pay-per-view rather, there have been two matches, and both matches featured title changes. So this is the first match where the title didn't change hands.
Right. And then we had Michelle McCool against Melina for the WWE Women's title. Let me see. I'm trying to remember what it's a women's title match. How about the Divas on Raw last night too? My God, Divas are just brutal to watch. Michelle McCool, winner and still WWE Women's Champion. I don't have much to say about that. I don't even remember, to be honest with you. Randy Orton versus Triple H versus John Cena, WrestleMania rematch. These three guys probably.
Was it good?
Yeah, second best match of the night, because you've got to put CM Punk versus Jeff Hardy as the main match. It was the main event, but best match of the night for sure between those two. Second best match of the night here. What was it? At the end, Cena goes for an attitude adjustment on Cody Rhodes, I believe it was. Orton jumps in and hits Cena with an RKO behind his back and covered him for the pinfall. And we still WWE Champion Randy Orton. So they go into SummerSlam. They're going to do Randy Orton versus John Cena, as we saw on Monday Night Raw from last night. Maurice versus Mickie James, another Divas match that I don't remember much about for the Divas title. New champion here, Mickie James, after I believe it ended with a DDT, but not sure.
Maurice is injured now, right? And doesn't she have knee problems? She might need surgery.
And that's part of the reason that
they switched the title.
That they took the title off of her. That's been ongoing for quite some time. A kneecap issue. Supposed to get that checked out today.
Dr. James Andrews.
Yeah, she was in Birmingham yesterday with him, and it was supposed to be checked out earlier this morning. Not sure. Don't have any updates on that. But that's obviously why they took the title off her and put it on Mickie James. Rey Mysterio versus Dolph Ziggler.
3 title changes so far. 3 title changes.
Well, yeah, 3, and then one more in the main event as well.
Total of 4. That's not bad.
Rey Mysterio and Dolph Ziggler. I expected more. I'm still a big fan of Ziggler.
Does he have Maria as his valet or whatever now, or is that just a one-time thing, or what?
I think it was just a one-time thing, because I don't watch SmackDown, but the announcers specifically noted that she was out there. She was accompanying Ziggler tonight. So I don't know if it was just a one-time deal or what the deal was. There's a story going around that a creative team writer actually pitched a Maria sex tape angle where Dolph Ziggler was going to blackmail her, but it never came to fruition.
That's pretty rough for PG, man. Yeah, fruition. Yeah. Look at you.
Yeah, not bad, huh?
Yeah.
Trying to impress Matt B. But that never came to.
But so they're done teasing taking Mysterio's mask off now. Is that whole thing completely done with?
Well, they must be. We'll see what they do at the. That was between Jericho.
Yeah,
anyway.
So Ziggler's not trying to go after his mask. They're like done, screwing with his mask.
No, not at the pay-per-view. They didn't do anything like that. We'll see what they do at the taping tonight. Hopefully, by the way, we're going to have SmackDown and ECW spoilers. Probably the full ECW spoilers before we go off the air. Ryan Gray is doing them over at ProWrestlingScoops.com. So hopefully we can get the full ECW report and then at least partial SmackDown spoilers before we go off the air. Probably the opening segment and maybe a match or two beyond that, because we go off the air at 9 o'clock and the show is still being taped. They're on the East Coast somewhere. Are they in Baltimore?
Yeah, they're in Baltimore.
That sounds about right. Yeah. All right.
I think we got a couple of results from the ECW tapings if you want them now.
From ECW?
Yeah.
You have them now?
Yeah. Well, not the whole show. It's still going on, but we got most of it.
Yeah. Let's do read off ECW real quick.
All right, we got Tyler Rex versus Paul Burchill in the opening match. Tyler Rex gets the win after a springboard dropkick. Second match was Vladimir Kozlov. He beat Bill Benny, a local jobber, and it was a squash match. And after the match, Ezekiel Jackson came out and delivered his one-arm slam. So that's what we got so far. There was a couple dark matches too.
All right, no doubt. So we'll get the rest of the ECW spoilers and SmackDown spoilers, at least partial SmackDown spoilers, before we go off the air. All right, back to Night of Champions. One more match that we have to talk about here: CM Punk against Jeff Hardy.
You said this was a good match?
Yeah, like I said earlier, it was a match of the night.
Was it like real good?
It was good. It was good. They did a lot of false finishes towards the end, where Jeff Hardy took a GTS and kicked out of that. Punk kicked out of a swanton.
Was the crowd into it?
And the twist of fate as well. Oh yeah, crowd was, and this was a dead crowd throughout the night. And towards the end of this match, started off slow, but towards the end when they did all those false finishes.
Well, what's going on with Jeff Hardy? He won the world title. Is he definitely staying, or is he definitely leaving? Do we know yet?
Well, they wanted him to stay through SummerSlam. And the feeling is that he's agreed to do that. And by putting the title on him, it's kind of like saying, hey, man, we're giving you the title. Do you want to walk away? Do you really want to walk away when we've got you right now as world champ? They could always take the title off at SummerSlam.
He's probably as popular now as he's ever been in his career, I would say. I mean, he's over huge, right?
Well, that's another thing. I mean, at the Night of Champions pay-per-view, as far as pops were concerned, Triple H and Jeff Hardy was pretty much, right there with one another. You know what I mean? And you would think Triple H, you know what I mean, going to get the massive pop or the John Cena, but you never know with Cena because there's always a mix. Triple H always gets that monster pop. You know what I mean? And Jeff Hardy was right there with him on Sunday. So, you give him the title.
Well, SummerSlam's the next pay-per-view, right? So they would have to have him for that because otherwise he's got to drop it on a SmackDown taping.
Well, I think he's obviously agreed to stay through SummerSlam. Whether that's his last pay-per-view, who knows? But by giving him the title, you know what I mean, over the next 4 weeks leading into SummerSlam, maybe... What
do you think they'll do with him at SummerSlam? Will it be a rematch against CM Punk, or are they going to move somebody else into that spot, or what?
Probably all depends on what he does, unless he's signed a new contract and we haven't heard about it.
He's defending against John Morrison tonight on SmackDown on the tapings. We know that, so...
Right. Well, I mean, if they're going to put John Morrison in the mix, then maybe do...
Is CM Punk a heel? Maybe he'll run in. Is he a heel yet or not?
Yeah, Punk is, especially after that promo on
maybe
Sunday
he'll
night.
do like a run-in and keep the program going. You never know.
Well, or they could do a fatal four-way or something at the pay-per-view, or you could do a gimmick match.
Beat the clock challenge kind of thing, yeah.
Well,
making the number one contender. It doesn't have to be that, but something like that.
Well, if you're going to put John Morrison in there tonight already against Jeff Hardy, it would make sense. I mean, obviously, unless it's just a one-night deal.
I think it would have to be just a one-night deal.
Well, unless they want to do, like I said, a gimmick match at the pay-per-view and throw a bunch of guys in there and have them all face the champion, which would be Jeff Hardy. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Is Shawn Michaels on the Raw brand when he comes back, or is he on the SmackDown brand?
He's on Raw.
Yeah, he's on Raw. Okay.
Well, there's a thinking that after Raw last night, Triple H called out Cody Rhodes and Ted DiBiase for next week in a handicap match, and Shawn is expected to return around SummerSlam.
He's featured on the website and on the posters and all that stuff. So
yeah, it would make sense to do it next week. Have Shawn come down and do the run-in, and then you've got a few weeks build to a DX versus Legacy at SummerSlam for a.
You think they'll do that, or you think they'll just have him as like a mystery guest on the pay-per-view? Do we know that, or are you just guessing?
Well, this is no. We don't know that Shawn is going to return, but I mean it was evident from Raw last night that they were leaning, and that also gets guys like DiBiase, Rhodes, Triple H, Shawn Michaels. It gets them all on SummerSlam because you've got a singles main event on the Raw side with John Cena versus Randy Orton. You know what I mean? So you've already got those two booked. and then you do Triple H, you do DX, you hype up a big DX return at SummerSlam versus the
DX and Legacy. Yeah, people seem to want to see that. So
yes, and then to do it at SummerSlam would make perfect sense. So
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see.
Well, that was Night of Champions right there.
That was Night of Champions right there, and
overall, hey, what do we got? What school letter grade are we giving it?
It's not an A or a B. It's probably C+, I guess.
C+.
Yeah. Nothing special. And I know it had 4 title changes, but it's just